Hi, it's Tash from Foxes and Vampires Tarot, and I haven't been on here for so long. This is partly because of some meh things, like I've been pretty busy, but I've also had some great things happen in my life, which have kept me busy. But I've been dying to do this particular VR to PaperMoon Tarot, called Tarot on Vacation. And so here goes. A little bit late, but better late than never. All right, so the idea of this is looking at tarot decks that might link up to particular holiday types. So the first category is tropical or beach tarot, and this is PaperMoon describes this as swimming with mermaids, sitting on the beach, traveling the high seas, just something sea themed, beach themed. Now, I'm not a big beach person. I'm really not. I'm not a fan of sand. I'm not a good swimmer, and so this was hard, and I don't have any decks that really link to mermaids and that explicitly. So I was kind of thinking about this in terms of that vibe you get, and I was thinking of a holiday I had in Fiji once, and it was all just about sort of sitting, poolside, drinking cocktails, and just having that really kind of mellow feel and sort of, I don't know, just a relaxed, mellow feel. And so the closest I got really to that is the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. And I think this one is more just because it has that kind of feel to it. I don't know, the colors are very beachy to me. And you can almost, I don't even know why, but it feels very beachy and kind of really relaxing holiday to me, which is really what a beach holiday is about. It's not about going off and sightseeing. It's about kind of sitting around and enjoying your environments, enjoying the fine things in life. And I think a lot of the cards in this deck really exemplify that quite substantially. So, yes. So that's the Muse Tarot. Now, what I've done as well with this particular VR is I've decided to do one tarot and one oracle for each holiday type. So bear with me. And so the oracle deck that I think me matches that tropical beach vacation to me was an easy one. It's The Whispers of the Ocean by Angela Hartfield and Ekaterina Golovnova. And this is pretty obvious. It's kind of under the water and beautiful sea life. And I just love this one. The colors are so beautiful, and that to me kind of actually pairs quite nicely with the Muse Tarot as well. I think they could look quite good next to each other. Let's have a look if they do. Yeah, they look pretty good next to each other. And so they would be my ocean themed decks. Beach holiday. All right, the second category is mountain and nature. And the idea of this is hike in the woods or communing with nature, encountering furry friends, perhaps a deck that fits in a backpack, that sort of thing. So I've kind of gone with, I love nature. And so I've thought back to some of the holidays I've had that were very nature based. And some of my favorite places have been like Niagara Falls, Muir Woods, Yosemite, just the grandeur of nature. And so for me, this was a really easy one. And I've gone with, for the tarot, The Majestic Earth by J.D. Hildegard Hinkle. And this is just because it really captures that grandiosity, the beauty of nature in all of its forms. And it really gives me those feels that I get when I have a look at natural sights. And so, yes, this was a pretty easy one. It reminds me of all those great places I have visited. And just those awe-inspiring moments, you know, I remember looking out on Niagara Falls and just being astounded at the amount of water, or looking out of the Grand Canyon and thinking, wow, I can't even comprehend how beautiful and how large this actually is. And so for me, the majestic earth really captures that. So the oracle that would go with this for me is the Wisdom of the Trees by Jane Struthers and Mirella Allwood. And the reason for this is because I just love trees. I love looking at trees, and beautiful parks with beautiful trees are really my happy place. And so this to me was a very easy decision. This really captures that mountainy nature feel that PaperMoon Tarot's mentioned. And yeah, so it's basically that, just that feel where you just kind of commune with nature, go for a nice bushwalk, have a look at some great trees. And so that's my oracle. And I think that'd be pretty cool together as well, I think. I'm assuming they might look quite good together. So maybe. I mean, I didn't actually think about these as pairings. I just thought about a tarot and an oracle that would kind of match those feels for me. So the third category is theme park vacation. So this is kind of any theme, amusement park, circus. This is a hard one because I don't have a lot of fluffy kind of decks in that sense. And so what I kind of thought about is, what theme parks have I loved? And one of them definitely was Harry Potter World at Universal Studios. And so the closest I have to that gives that sort of vibe, is probably the Wizard's Tarot by Barbara Moore and Julia Jeffrey. And it's not so much that this is Harry Potter themed, it's just that it really has that, I mean, the backs, it has that very magical sort of vibe to it. And you can almost see these scenes kind of happening in some nice, in this grandiose castle in a theme park where you kind of wander through and get this great story. And yes, it's kind of this magical house you can walk through, this great world that you can explore. And yeah, fairly action-packed in places as well. And so yeah, that's the closest I could really get for that feel. I don't know if it matches it perfectly, but it definitely gives me those sorts of vibes. And then the oracle that I thought would match this theme quite well is the Witchlings by Paulina Cassidy. And these are just, I mean, these are very fluffy, I guess. A lot of affirmation, but I think it still captures some of that playful mood. So it's that kind of witchy, playful mood that you might get if you went to kind of a kiddie section of a Harry Potter world, and you kind of get into the magic of it all and the joy of it all. And I guess that's my closest match. So yes, as I said, I found that one quite hard. All right, so number 4 is cultural vacation. And so this is about visiting art galleries, Broadway shows, concerts, and whatnot. So this, to me, I was struggling to pick a specific holiday. But for me, I love art galleries. Like everywhere I go, I try and catch an art gallery. And I love art decks. So this was actually quite hard because I had to really think about it. But which ones I was going to pick. And so for me, the tarot deck is the Revival Art by Tarot Studio. And this to me is just like looking at art in a gallery. And I love this style of art. Not necessarily it's art that I'd have on my wall at home, but I just love looking at it. I love just the feels you get when you walk through an art gallery and look at art like this. And so I love this deck for that reason. It's just so beautiful. And yes, this is the first edition. I don't have the second edition, still tossing up. It's a fair bit of money, and I'm thinking, well, do I need both? I probably don't. So I think I'm just going to stick with my first edition at this stage. All right, and then the Oracle deck is actually one I got on Etsy, and this is the Life Wisdom Oracle by Wisdom BYKK, and it just got beautiful little artwork with a really nice saying, keyword and saying on it. And I really like this. This pairs very well with my revival art. So for example, I'll show you a pairing. So it looks really, really good together. So it is a pairing I use anyway. And I use these a lot as well for just daily pulls. But to me, the art's gorgeous once again. And it just reminds me of walking around art galleries. And really cute little deck. And find it quite nice to just pull one of these every day. So yes, that is my cultural vacation. I'm arted out. Okay, number 5 is the Adventure Tarot. So this could be safari, mountain climbing, digging for treasure, whatever. And so I've gone with animals because I love animals. And so for me, the deck that probably captures true nature, like animals in true nature for me, would be the Animal Totem Tarot by Lisa Robertson and illustrated by Eugene Smith. And this to me is pretty much animals doing what they do in nature. And so this would be the equivalent of kind of going out and I guess animal watching in the wild, going on, I don't know, like whale watching or safari, and just exploring the natural world. And it's a great deck for this reason. It's very real and does kind of remind me of going out into the wild. I mean, that's so safari, isn't it? Like, wow. So yes, that's the Animal Totem. And here's another one. And then the Oracle is kind of a rare Oracle, but this to me captures that safari feel. Yeah, I grew up in South Africa and I remember going on safari a few times. You just kind of drive around and try and spot animals, and it's pretty cool. And so for me, this is Animal Instincts by Heidi Cornelissen. And these are all African animals, and it's a photography deck. And it's kind of cute. It has a little phrase, but it also has information about the behavior of that particular animal. And so in that sense, it's about capturing the essence of that animal, and that's kind of part of the message as well. But this to me is completely African safari, and I mean, I don't think this is available anymore. I don't even remember where I got it, to be honest. I've just had it forever. But yeah, to me, this kind of pairs really nicely in terms of the adventure holiday. So number 6 is an education vacation. This is where you might go on an archeological dig or attend a tarot convention or do some study or learn a language. And so for me, I've gone with a kind of history mythology theme. I do really like learning about the history of places, and which is not surprising. I used to be a history teacher, and so I was thinking about holidays I've had, and one of the most educational trips I've had is when I went to Ravenna and had a look at all their mosaics. And so this is very Byzantine. And so that to me has to be the Byzantine Tarot by John Matthews and Scylla Conway. And this is really cool because it really does remind me of what those mosaics all looked like. And they're just so beautiful. And it's not even, I mean, this could have gone into cultural vacation as well, but I think it's more educational about thinking about how it fits in with the history of the place, and yeah, and just the mythology, the religious belief that goes with it. And it's quite interesting to look at collision of cultures in the past. And yeah, so I really like this one as an educational holiday. And so the oracle, I don't have anything Byzantine in nature, but I was kind of thinking, well, another mythology that I found very interesting exploring when I've been on holiday is Scandinavian mythology. And so for me, this is now the Yggdrasil Norse divination oracle by Hauke Halldorsen and Gunhilda Hauksdottir. And these are all just all based on Norse mythology, Norse gods, and this one in particular fits it because it actually does require quite a lot of study and thought to really work with this one, and it does remind me of my Scandinavian trips, and it's just really beautiful to look at and think about and try and find the links with mythology, try and understand the stories behind it. So yes, so that's the Yggdrasil, and so they don't really pair, but as I said, they're just two different educational holidays. And then the final category is haunted vacation. And so this is like going on a ghost hunt or staying in a haunted house, visiting a spooky castle. And this was hard for me because I'm a bit of a coward. I don't actually do a lot of the scary things just because I'll never sleep again. Like, let's face it. And so I kind of thought, well, what have I done that was, I guess, a little bit scary? And I have done some ghost tours in certain towns, and I also, the scariest moment of my life was when I went to the Walking Dead attraction at Universal Studios, and that was terrifying. And I was like, oh, I was never been so scared in my life. So I was kind of thinking, well, what tarots do I have that link with that? And so I had to go with the Zombie Tarot by Stacey Graham, and I kind of like this one because it also captures pretty much the extent of the scary experience I can actually manage, because even though it is a little bit gory and it is horror themed, it does have a good sense of humor, and so it's very kind of retro, and I can just about deal with this. It's like, yeah, this is like just watching a really bad movie, but yes. So this is my haunted vacation tarot. So it's pretty cool. It's a very cool little tarot. And okay. And then the oracle, what I've gone with is vampires. So Les Vampires by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And I guess this kind of fits that sort of ghost tour quite strongly. And once again, it's not a fearful deck at all, but it does have that kind of spooky feel to it, and you could almost imagine having like a little haunted house you walk through and you come across these particular characters, vignettes, and yeah, just that kind of spooky but not terrifying feel to it. And so yes, that is Les Vampires. So kind of creepy, but also very cute, which is how you like it. Well, it's how I like it, because I don't like very scary. But yeah, you could almost imagine that as part of a tour. Anyway, so that's my tarot on vacation with a few oracle decks mixed in as well. Thank you for watching. If you still subscribe, thank you so much, considering I have been completely incognito and you've probably given up on me. But yes, I will be trying to make a few more videos. Just got a fair bit on at the moment. But yes, coming up soon will be my second quarter deck haul. So we shall have a look at that. All right, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.